Hi, I'm Alex Archbold. I've been buying and selling antiques since I was a kid. Over the years, generations of our family have gotten involved in the business, and I'll search just about anywhere I can to find hidden treasures both big and small. I never know what I'll turn up next. It's about exploring new places, seeing new sights, and having fun. And even though sometimes I get over my head, we try and make things a little better along the way. This is Curiosity Inc.
Well, hello out there in YouTube land. Well, a while back, some of you were a little upset to learn that I had sold or listed my Jag XKE. As of filming this today, the auction hasn't ended yet, but I'm certain it's gonna find a new home. And why would I sell a perfectly good running, driving E-type Jag? Really doesn't need much of anything and is roadworthy. Well, I needed to downsize the car collection a little bit. And in part, it's because I had another car coming. I had this on its way. Now, for those of you that aren't overly familiar with what that little thing is, it kind of looks like a Porsche 356 mixed with the Carmen Ghia. It's none of those things. It's a Lancia Appia Zagato GTE. I always think of Mugato from Zoolander, but no, it's not Mugato. That'd be maybe more interesting. I should get it a necktie, a piano tie. It's a Lancia Zagato GTE, and this car actually has some really interesting history. This Lancia Zagato was built off of the Appia chassis, which was used for all sorts of different things, cars, sedans, little delivery vehicles and stuff. But this was made into a race car by the Zagato company. You can see the little Z right there on the fender, right there. This car has raced the Targa Floria. It has raced all over the world. In the early 70s through the mid 80s, it was a regular on a lot of European circuits, and it was raced by a Lancia team driver named Anatoly Arutunoff. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that last name, but this was actually owned by a Lancia race car driver who raced this. And he raced a Flaminia Zagato, and he also had Lancia Stratos that he raced. So it's a real true-blooded road-worthy race car, and it's kind of the first one I've had like this. It looks like it's white, but it's not. It is actually like a really, really light blue. And you can't, I don't know if you can kind of see the difference. Well, look how dirty my car is. It's winter here right now. It's actually a very, very pale blue. And although the paint looks shiny, when you get up close, there are lacquer cracks all over the place here. So the car will probably need a paint job at some point. And it's not the original paint. It's been painted once before, so it's not going to hurt it too much to get a paint job. It's very original right now. Let me open the door up here. This would have been a little more striking than what it is now. It has, well, this would have been white leather with baby blue piping, and it would have had similar sort of trim detail in the back. Now, it is a little worse for wear, but it is a full functioning road registered vehicle. So it's got actually a lot going for it. The interior of the car has patina, for sure. You know, it's got kind of dirty, and I don't think that's, oh, maybe it's dirt, I don't know. I'll see what I can do to clean up these door panels. Same thing with the dash. It's just generally filthy, and that's because this car was actually used as a race car. It wasn't really used as an everyday sort of vehicle, but it has an original Nardi steering wheel signed with the Nardi signature on there, and this would date to the 1960s. Really cool thing to have, with the Lancia horn button on there. And I do have the original steering wheel too, but this is just so cool and so proper for this little race car. And it's surprisingly not too bad for room in here. It's kind of like when you get into a Volkswagen Beetle or something like that, and you go, okay, I get it. This kind of works. It's not a huge vehicle by any means, but I fit. That's all I need. I'm gonna have to do something with the headliner. It's a little, I fit well, and if I let that go, the headliner kind of touches my hair there. But I'm gonna start this thing up and get it outside so we can actually hear this thing run. It has a little V4, a little 4-cylinder engine in here, which is just chuffing along right now. Sounds like a little go-kart. I'm noticing that my tank is showing that I'm near empty, so I don't think I'm gonna risk going for a big drive or anything right now, but it's a really cool little car, really weird little car. And I've got to try and bring it back into shape because although it's fairly original, the seats are crusty, the headliner's sagging, it's filthy. It just needs a little loving, and that's what we're gonna do with the car. The first things first, I'm gonna get pulled back in the garage and we'll get the seats out. Kind of do a cool side-by-side comparison here. So see how the door handle works on this car? It looks almost like it's shaved, right? You push the little button, door handle comes out. Super cool, novel idea, right? What other car has a door handle like that? The Tesla. Similar, almost the same kind of idea. Keeps the drag down of the vehicle so there's less wind resistance and pops right out. So some of these things we think are really cool modern features are in fact, you know, 50 years old, 60 years old or more. So really, really cool little bit of ingenuity there. So floorboards this car has no rust. So that, I mean, it's an aluminum body for starters. It's a hand-formed aluminum body, but there's nothing in the chassis. The floors are rock solid. It's the perfect sort of car you want to get. You can actually drive it, do what I call a rolling restoration, where you can actually drive the car and improve it as you go. So for me, the first thing I'm gonna do is try and spruce this interior up because it looks like it was dredged out of the bottom of a lake. It looks like an old race car interior. And some people might say leave it, but this isn't how they intended it to look in Italy back in '59 when this car was built. So I am gonna get the interior spruced up a little bit. And to do that, we need to take the seats out. So I'm gonna take the passenger one out first, and then I'm gonna move the car out of the way, because it's not much fun to drive a car with no seat, and we'll pull that other seat out. So first seat out is going to be this. Should just be 4 bolts, bing, bang, boom, boom, right up there, and it should pop right out, hopefully. I might put a little penetrating oil on the bolts, so just because they probably haven't been out since the car was new, so it's probably a little stuck in place. But while I let the penetrating oil, which I just sprayed on the seat bolts, sit, I'll show you the engine. There's not much to it. It's not like looking under the hood and seeing a big, you know, V12 or, you know, really anything. The engine is so small. In fact, when I do this, it's the same width as my hand. But this little 4-cylinder V4 is capable of bringing this little chassis, this little car up to 150 kilometers an hour, which does make it a true sports car. You know, it does proper speeds, and these were contenders against Porsches and other vehicles of the like that would have raced at that time. It needs a little bit of detailing under here, but really it's fairly tidy. It looks like the rad's been recored at one point and it's repainted, which is nice. Some fresh hoses. So mechanically the car is actually really, really good. It's been gone through, it passed its inspections, and the car is great. It's got a little look at the header, it's got a header on there. What gives it its extra loud little rumble. I do have the original manifold in the back, which is nice. It came with all the extra parts, which are in a box in the back seat. But for right now, I'm going to attempt to grab my wrenches and pull that seat out. Bolts are out. Unfortunately, one of them, the head broke off. So I'll have to extract that and possibly re-thread it. But the passenger seat is loose. We'll get that out and out of the way. I'll move the car now and pull the driver's seat. Well, and there they are. They're out. And yeah, not super comfortable, not super nice to look at. And you might say, oh, why not just soften the leather? Maybe you can re-dye it. Well, it's a bit beyond that. So we're gonna get these out to an upholstery shop so they can get started on those. And yeah, gosh, with any luck, it'll come back looking like new. Well, with the seats out, it gives me access to the floor, which is rock solid. That's about as good of a floor as you can expect out of a vehicle this age. I mean, other than a little discoloration or surface rust, this thing is basically mint. So I'm going to get this cleaned up before I decide to put any sort of underlay or carpet in here. And then I can start worrying about the door panels and the other bits, making this all correct back here. But a good start anyway, and nice to see that the car is actually quite solid. Seats are out, paint is dry. I just got back from a fabric store and picked up some baby blue vinyl and some batting, because after doing a bit of research, also speaking to the fellow I bought the car from, there had been a roll cage in the back here, which meant that the original panel that was back here had been removed. Now, they did a very nice job fabricating a new panel. However, it's not in the correct kind of material. This was actually meant to be in the blue leatherette or leather that the rest of this interior is. And then this part would have been carpeted and come down. So I've ordered fresh carpet, which is good because there's really not much left for carpet in here, and new underlay is coming. So I am going to work on getting that panel out, and probably end up pulling these other little panels off here because they're a little bit worse for wear. So not looking at it like a full restoration, but I definitely want it to feel nice and clean on the interior, because it makes you feel a certain way about a car when it feels nice when you sit inside of it. And right now, that's not really the case in here. It's like a pair of worn out hiking boots in here. And rightfully so, Toly had his, coveralls and probably racing in this thing with, greasy hands working on the engine. And so it's a race car. It's it's not a luxury thing right now, but it can be again. So I'm going to just try and clean the interior up a bit and really not do anything other than what it would have been like originally. But I got to get a screwdriver and pull that board out. Well, with the back panel out, the first thing I'm doing is I'm re-adhering the upholstery that the last owner had put on, because the glue was starting to let loose. He'd cut a nice aluminum panel. I'll probably leave that just as it is for now, but I want to make sure this is all secure and on there, because I'm going to be upholstering over top of that. And yeah, I don't want there to be any issues. So once that's all set and dried, I can start the upholstery. In the meantime, I've pulled the back, I wanted to say door panels, but the back panels out of the rear compartment. And this, 70-year-old, nearly 70-year-old panel board here is a little worse for wear. Obviously, some of the door seals, it had got water and they are warped, and really there's nothing left. I am going to try and use it as a template though, so I can cut a new one. But that means another trip back out to the store to go and track down some panel board, which is really the same type of board they would use like in old rec rooms, just a very thin board. So we're gonna go see what they have for paneling. Likely Home Depot should have something, and then I can use that to cut a template. Okay, I got my new panel board, which is gonna be the perfect thickness for this. And I have to try and figure out basically how to very carefully peel all of this old leather back and off of this while still maintaining a bit of a shape so that I can use it as a template? You know what I mean, for the new one. So I'm gonna work my way around and gently dismantle this, and I might get a tool so I can kind of get underneath there, but the goal is peel that all back, get that board out, and we'll see what we're working with. Okay, new boards are cut, and I can actually get these upholstered. I fit them in already just to double check, and yeah, they do fit, so that's good. My measurements seem to be all right. So I'm gonna get these guys upholstered, and boy, we'll be just one step closer here. Where's my vinyl? I'm gonna grab my vinyl out of the trunk. Oh yeah, I should also mention, I took the gas cap off. You might be wondering, why, Alex, did you take the gas cap off? That's because I needed to get the paint color matched. So I took it in, had them match up the paint, and had color match spray cans made up. And the reason I did that is not for the outside of the car, it's for the inside of the car, because before I get the panels put on, you can kind of see that's a little crusty, a little dusty, a little rusty. That needs to be sanded out and repainted just to kind of clean it up a bit. I'm gonna leave the original leather trim and stuff in here, but I don't want to put it all back in and have these sort of rusty looking corners over there. It doesn't look super nice. So I'm gonna get those repainted before I reassemble the trim. But I've got upholstery to do in the meantime, which ought to keep me busy, so I can worry about the other stuff later. Okay, I've test fit the panels and all seems good. You'll notice that the blue is slightly off, and I've actually gone out and got some color match dye, and it's very, very close to what the original was. So we're gonna take this all back apart again. I just wanna make sure the screws were all in the right spot and everything. We're gonna take this all back apart and dye these, hopefully a closer match, and we'll reinstall. Okay, I've got the panels that I've upholstered dyed, and you can kind of see, like, this is what we were matching it up to. That's what it came out as. You can't, even these little spots where it's clean, you can't really see too much of a difference. I think that is a really good indicator of the color. That's just on a dirty spot right there, but that, they said it's within 0.5% of what the color should be. So take into account, you know, a bunch of years of totally racing around the track and dirt and dust and roll bars going in and out and stuff, I think that's pretty close to the color that it should have been when it was new. So I'm gonna get the side panels put in, and I can get those in and leave them in. And the back piece I can't really put in until the carpet starts to go in. So I gotta wait on that, unfortunately. And I'm impatient, so I hate waiting, but at least I can get the side bits in. Gosh, that turned out good. Is that ever clean and tidy now back there? No more rust. I color matched the paint there. Same on this side. And that panel is just nice and bright. The only problem is that the dirty, kind of worn out panel looks a little shabby next to it. But I mean, that is original. But at least this back area will be nice and clean and tidy. Just waiting for that carpet to come in, and then I can carry on here. But I feel like I made some good progress today. Finally have an update for you guys. Well, for you, it's been a matter of seconds as I moved from the last frame to this one. For me, it's been about a week while I've been waiting for the carpet, which is in this box here, to arrive. I ordered the correct style of carpeting, the 1960s kind of style loop carpeting that this car had. And I decided to go with a lighter blue color, so it felt like it was age appropriate. Also got some new underlay, which will hopefully make it a little bit quieter in the car for road noise. One thing that totally said me on the phone is that his wife said it was the noisiest car she'd ever been in. That it was, what she said was the Lancia was louder inside than outside. Well, he said that he removed all the insulation and underlaying carpeting because it was a race car and for safety reasons. Plus, he had to put a roll cage in. So we're gonna put that all back in, fresh and new. I told my wife that I was gonna be out in the garage and she wouldn't see me for a while. And she said, "Is that because you're dressed like Waldo today? I've got a striped shirt." She's a funny gal, that Melissa. Anyway, we're gonna start off by doing the underlay. I've got my glue, which is basically just like a contact cement right here. I've got some cheap brushes so I can use to brush that on there. And we'll get the underlay cut, measured, and glued in, and then we can start to do the carpet. I'm actually excited. There's nothing better than the feeling of having fresh carpeting in your car after years and years, and today's gonna be that day for me. So let's get started with measuring and cutting the underlay. Okay, I have been busy cutting and gluing, and I've got almost all the sound deadening material installed and cut and placed. It's actually looking pretty good right now. Even if that was gray carpeting, it would look a lot better than what it was. But we're gonna let that set up, let that dry, let that be what it needs to be. And I'm going to start cutting the carpet. Now I've saved whatever carpet I could. Now this was black carpeting that was in here, or really, really dark blue maybe. And you can kind of see it was a loop, and it's been smushed down over the years. So I've gone with a lighter color carpet because this isn't gonna be used as a race car now, and I think the light color will tie in with the, I gotta watch where I'm stepping around here, tie in with the light blue and the white scheme here. So The first thing I'm going to do is start getting the carpet cut for the sides, because this front area actually doesn't have carpet. It's just rubber mat. So that I can get the front basically all finished up pretty quickly if I get the sides cut. Now, I've kept the remnants of the carpet that I pulled out, and I'm going to use those as a template for the new stuff. And you can just see how gross this was, you know, years of dust and glue and debris that have built up on there. So it was time to get changed out. But, you know, it lasted 70 years. That's not bad. So let's get some carpet unrolled and we'll see what we can do. All right, I figured it was time for an update since I've been working on this for a few hours now. Some of the carpeting is starting to go in along the edges, which is where you want to do first before you do the bottom part. And I'm working, oh, you can't really see, hang on. Let me get in here and show you. I'm just waiting on some of this adhesive to dry. Getting that portion in. Once that's all battened down and tucked and cut and glued and all the other good stuff that has to happen, once that's all in, I can put the back panel back in, and that back area will be just about done. So I'm 15 minutes away. It's the dry time for this contact cement to get the other piece in, but you can really see it's a nice sort of period correct looking carpet, and I think it's going to look really nice. It's going to look swell once it's all cut in here. So really, once this is done, I've only got the sections for the passenger and driver's seat area here, and I'll be just about ready for the seats to go in. So I'm getting excited. Okay, well, I lied. I was going to take a break, and I guess I did. I went and had dinner. I came back out. But I got the carpet finished. Looks pretty good. Where I had to cut around where the seams are and stuff, you can't really even see, to be honest with you. That's the little bump where the rail is. When the seats go in, it's going to be all nice and covered. So mats will go back and play. I'm actually kind of proud of myself over this one. Look at that. I did a thing. I made a car look somewhat better. Actually, let's see what it looks like with the door closed. I got to come around here and get the full effect. Ooh, fresh. Well, I'm going to clean that door panel. I am going to leave the patina, but that whole back area is all back together. Rubber floor mat has to go in on the other side. But look at that. I almost feel like a bit of a pro today. You really, once the new seats go in, that's going to look fantastic. Well, I'm going to get the floor mats thrown in, and hopefully next update we'll be getting these seats back from the upholstery shop. With the carpets all in, I'm ready to install the seats, and the timing is absolutely perfect because I just got a message from the upholstery shop that the seats are done. So we're going to head on over, pick those up, and hopefully today will be the install. And if the weather's nice enough outside, I should be able to take the car for my very first drive, which I'm excited for too. So off we go to get the seats, and they turned out pretty good. There we are. Seats are back, and that is the original color combination for these seats. Now you might say, why white? Why white? That's a terrible color for a seat. Well, a lot of new cars, in fact, some of the newer Teslas have white interiors. It's not unheard of. You certainly wouldn't want to wear brand new blue jeans on these because the dye would probably come off. But this car had white seats. And as I saw, there's quite a few other Zagato bodied cars where they put white interiors in, including Tolley's Bristol Zagato 407. It had white interior as well. So it's just what they did. And I wanted it done in the exact same pattern as original. So it's identifiable, even right down to the blue vinyl back that was on there. There's a little bit of a wrinkle. Oh, I guess that's part of the inside. Anyway, this is the way it was. It's back to the way that it was, except cleaner. So now I'm gonna get these thrown in the interior and try my first sit, put my caboose on there. Well, that's much better, and it looks not out of place. It looks as it should be. So there's one thing left to do. That's to hop inside the car and take this baby for a spin. letting it warm up for a minute. I am gonna have to fix this saggy headliner because my head, it touches the headliner, so I'm kind of having to slouch down a little bit in here. Plus having new foam in the seats probably doesn't help things either, but the car started right up. It sounds good. Ooh. Sounds racy. Okay, let's go. Well, it's a peppy, light-feeling little car. Sporty. I can see why they would have raced these. It's definitely got a little get up and go. Certainly not like a big American V8 or anything, but it's light. It's like a go-kart. It's super fun and seems to be driving just great. Well, that's a bit better. Kind of reminds me of like the inside of a 1950s boat. But it's cool. It's Italian, it's different, it's white with blue piping. I mean, heck. And I think that blue carpeting I put in really sets it off nice. I think that looks just absolutely period correct. Well, what a cool looking thing. So guys, thank you very much for watching today's episode. And Tolly, if you're watching, well, we got the car going and having fun bombing it around, and it's going to be a very fun summer this year. I think taking some of these cars to the car shows, and this, I'm sure a lot of people never have seen a Lancia Appia Zagato GTE before. I had, but it's a cute little car. So guys, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you all soon, and as always, bye for now.